On time.
Start streaming.
That's right.
Turn on the recorder.
Strict schedule here.
You can-
get a hold of BAS.
You can wait. You can wait until.
Kill it again and go join it again. Leave it and come back to it.
Leave the meeting.
Oh, you'll have to.
Leave it complete.
You might have to put those codes back.
Did you go set up anywhere on the weekend?
I was at Covington Youth Football Saturday.
It was Apple Fest this weekend.
This Saturday.
Yeah. Okay.
It looks like it's gonna be decent weather. It looked like maybe high 70s. If the rain holds off.
Apple Fest ain't the same weekend as the hill climb.
Yep. So then you go from there, then the hill climb the next weekend.
And then the bridge.
I really.
I'm too poor to go to the Bridge Festival unless you set up in like Montezuma.
Yeah.
You go to Bridgeton, it's like $5,000 to $15,000 for 10 days, depending on where you're at. It's insane.
Russell said the state fair is catastrophic.
Oh, it's expensive because your health has to pay to attend every day. They don't have like vendor passes or anything. Everybody pays to get in. Oh yeah.
So extra $5,000 a day and 10% or something.
It's 20% a day. You gotta go to the bank and turn them in, and you can't bring in your food from outside. You have to buy from their vendors on site. Now, that may not be.
Sometimes it's a good thing.
Yeah, sometimes. So like with Cisco or like a big company, if they're on site, you may get a better rate. But if you're used to running a small popping thing out of red and white, you're not gonna get that at Cisco. You're gonna.
They probably have minimums and stuff too.
That's
You
what
couldn't
I was
just
told.
Yeah,
They're
I don't.
pick off their shelf as you
Yeah,
I understand.
But they claim it's cheaper for the vendors because everybody's on site there and you don't have to travel.
I don't.
It's easier, I'm sure. The convenience is by far.
Yeah, it's just the price. You may be paying an extra.
Might be paying $5 a pound for tomatoes instead of $2.50.
Yeah, or you get them somewhere else.
Yeah.
Stephanie.
Yeah. Is this yours, Ryan? Did you
Stephanie Simpson.
This
She works
this
for
was
the
handed to me, I guess.
Treasurer's office.
I don't
I don't know.
notice that.
Hey, you like these fancy chairs?
I don't know him.
Little chairs there?
I
Can't get a good look at his
It's
face.
better than Ernie Pyle.
I didn't know him when I seen him.
Ernie Powell.
He looks too young to be her husband, isn't he?
Right, Riley?
That's right.
No, that.
About to be famous. All 40 of our fans. Right.
That's probably more than our commissioner. That's more than our commissioner's page.
I'm usually watching them.
We only get more than that.
If I can't make a meeting, I just put them up.
Oh, it's, you can watch it at 9 o'clock.
It
at night.
is.
That's what I like about it.
Yeah.
Jeff and Steph.
We're not as famous as we used to be. We used to get a little bit more traffic.
Seven times a day.
You guys ready, or what are we still? No.
We're recording, but we don't have the teams up yet. We're working on that.
I
He's
said it
gonna
might be
allow
with me
me.
another 3 months. I hope not. I couldn't sleep last night. It kept waking me up. It's not a hard pain. It's just it's just a nerve fire.
Morning, Cindy.
Comes through there and wakes
Good
you up.
morning. I was just getting ready to send you an email, like, hopefully we're on the right wavelength here.
Is it getting better?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, are we ready?
As ready as I can be.
All right, I'm gonna call this meeting to order. Since we have a flag in here, let's all stand and say the pledge of allegiance, please. All right.
Like that.
I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. So this is the September meeting of the Vermillion County Redevelopment Commission, and I will now call the roll. Riley Chu.
Here.
R.J. Donovan.
Here.
Doug Meadows.
Here.
Kelly Somerville.
Here.
Doc Sutherland.
Here.
And I'm John Moore. In your packet is previous minutes from the previous meeting, which you would all look them over and let me know yea or nay as to whether or not you approve them.
John, the only correction I'd like to add to the minutes, during the Ernie Pyle updates, where it says the commission had a lengthy discussion, and the vote was 4 yes, 1 abstaining vote, which is myself. In these minutes, it doesn't dictate or say any reason why I abstained from the vote. I would like the record to reflect that we were handed a document the day of the meeting and asked to approve that by our attorney. I would like, there was several discussions for 10 to 15 minutes, and it is not reflected anywhere in the minutes.
Yeah. We can put that in there.
Well, I guess my next question to the board would be, when I read this, it says Vermillion County Redevelopment Commission minutes. And minutes are verbatim of the meeting. What we have before us is a memorandum. And a memorandum is where it says there was lengthy discussion. So if we want to do a memorandum, that's fine, but this is not a copy of the minutes of the meeting. Am I wrong on that? On my understanding of minutes versus memorandums?
Minutes are basically a recording of any action that is taken. But as far as a verbatim, hell, I'd have to have 100 sheets of paper.
Well, I just don't think it's fair for the public. If someone reads these, they wouldn't understand why I abstained or even who abstained from the vote. And I think it's very prudent for the public to understand that, you know, I refuse to vote on something when I receive a budget handed to me the day of a meeting. So I think that definitely needs reflected in these minutes.
If that's what you want, that's what we'll do.
I'll leave it up to the rest of the board to do that. But I mean, unless I'm mistaken, but I mean, that's my recollection of the last meeting at Ernie Pyle.
Well, there was substantial discussion, and you were peeved because you didn't get the stuff until that meeting. And that's understood. But I don't know that it's necessary to broadcast the fact that we had a big disagreement.
I don't think it's the broadcasting and the disagreement, John. I think it's, if we're being open and transparent with the community and the taxpayers of this county, it should be known in these minutes that I abstained because I was handed a budget that meeting, and it was, held on for a week and failed to be emailed to the entirety of the board. So, and I'm glad these meetings are live streamed here now, but regardless, I would like to see that these minutes are amended and those are added to the minutes.
What's your pleasure?
I would have to disagree with that. I think John has done a great job putting this together. I think when we start
Excuse me,
going,
before we get, these minutes were transcribed by one of Scott's.
Who's sitting here in my office right now watching, and I tell her she has a hard time following all the back and forth and who's who, and
Sure.
discussion was held.
Yeah,
we can add in the why. That's not a problem.
I just can't understand why anybody would disagree with wanting the truth to be put in the minutes. That's
Well, the implication is that there was some effort to obscure the truth, and I don't think that was.
well, and I think that should be added too, Scott, that you said you'd made a mistake and didn't get that email to us, and that's fine.
Well, if we start going over everything that everyone brought up in the discussion, it does become a very lengthy. These things are recorded, so it just becomes very difficult for a person to transcribe the whole thing. We could do a better job of summarizing. No, that's
This here isn't a very good summarization of the meeting.
well, Carrie does her best. I mean, she's trying to do this remotely and not.
I understand that, but I don't think my ask is too crazy
It's not.
to ask that be amended.
Add that in. That's not. I mean, if you guys want,
Let me say this too. I mean, we currently don't have a secretary of the board, right? Would minutes taking typically be done by a secretary?
the secretary of the board, yeah.
Okay.
Or a person we
Yeah.
hire to do that.
So are we paying you guys to do that now? Or
Not
you guys
really. I mean, I just have, no,
Okay.
not special. I just have Carrie doing this while she's at my office.
Okay.
So, because we don't, John had always done it, he'd record the meetings and then listen, try and do it, but it's just a lot for
Well,
anyone.
and I think this, well, Penny's gone, but I think this courtroom has the ability to transcribe the meeting minutes now, doesn't it?
Yeah, and this app will transcribe too. It's just as Penny and I were talking about beforehand, it doesn't,
It's imperfect.
it's imperfect.
Yeah. Well, someone
It's
still has
not-
to.
I don't think it, what he's trying to say, I don't think it was like they made a point of trying to mask anything. I think it's just the fact of that's how the transcribing works. It's imperfect.
To me, minutes are just a brief summary of what occurred during the meeting. It's not a transcript of what happened, it's.
Well, that's what you're describing to me as a
Now,
memorandum.
see, I think a memorandum is, we met, here's what time we met. You only do memorandums for executive sessions, you're only supposed to do memorandums of meetings for executive
Well,
sessions.
the old commissioner board done memorandums. So
I always thought of those as just for executive sessions, where you don't even talk about what was talked about, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
We met, we discussed this subject, we discussed a personnel matter and adjourned.
Sure.
So it's just we met and that's it. So, to me, minutes are a brief summary of what occurred. Who voted for what, you know, what action was taken. And I have encouraged Carrie when we have these lengthy discussions, just to say, you know, after much discussion.
Yeah.
Much
Well,
debate.
that's fine, but even the votes, list who voted for and against.
Yeah,
you know.
that way it should be.
Yeah.
It's just hard. I can talk. She's listening to us, so I'm trying to be nice. It's hard for me to always know who's doing what. So we should do those out loud as long as she's doing the minutes.
That's
you know?
So you want to table the minutes and I'll correct them and then we'll vote on them again next meeting?
I would have no problem making a motion to approve pending your edits to them, John, and you can forward them via email. That would be fine by me. I don't want to hold up approving the minutes for another month's worth of meeting. But I'll make a
I'll second.
Well, I mean, are you
Oh, I'm
okay
fine.
with that?
Yeah.
Riley?
I'm fine with that. I
Kelly?
just want to echo, would it be helpful to have a secretary, John, to take some of the
I'm more than willing to nominate you if you want.
legwork? I'm not voluntary. I'm not advocating for that. I mean, I know that's a big responsibility, but if that's something that you need as a president, voice that.
It would help tremendously. When we did have a secretary, I was secretary for the first 2 years, and then when Brandon Ruth is on here, he actually was secretary. He would write everything up and then send it to me, and I would either edit it or not edit it, but then I would go ahead and send it to the Clintonian because they wanted to write up. And then, that was the way it was. If you're sitting here trying to run it, I'm lucky to remember to write on my agenda.
Right, yeah, and we're deep
I
in
did-
conversation that it's
I did
It's
find
hard
my
to catch
agenda
every
where
detail.
I did note the motions and seconds, but as far as the lengthy conversations, when you get engulfed in it, yeah, it would help to have a secretary, which is basically Scott's person there at the office listening to us. The write-up is good.
and this is not
The thing I did not
know.
realize personally, I disagree with RJ, but by the same token, I understand where he's coming from. So if that being the case, I can amend those.
What do you need, a formal motion, or did I already do one for you?
You already did one and Doug already seconded it.
Okay.
So motion by RJ, second by Doug.
You don't have anything else to do, do you?
Do what?
You don't have anything else to do?
Oh, no, I got plenty of time. So RJ motion, second Doug. Any discussion?
I think we covered that already.
All those in favor of approving the minutes of the previous meeting with the condition that the items RJ wants entered be entered? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it. Okay,
John, before we move on, I know Riley brought up the secretary thing. Would you be interested in being the secretary?
That's a board discussion.
I mean,
This is my second meeting, so, and I do spend time, I've dug into everything you guys have given me, and I appreciate it. I'm still, just developing more knowledge on the
If
board.
RJ, I know we haven't got that thing approved yet, but if there is an economic development,
Mm-hmm.
and we have two people doing that, and
Yep.
one's an administrative person, could that?
Ask them to, yeah, I think so.
person-
I just didn't know since the board is supposed to technically have one if it wouldn't.
Yeah, they do, but I mean, it's like a lot of boards have secretaries, but it's more of a functionary, it's more of a title than it is the person who actually does.
I was just willing, if Riley was, to give John some help in that
We
short
could
term.
use it, we're supposed to have one, so,
I'm
but
leaving that up to the board.
Ideally-
That's not me going out on a limb here and wanting to take
Yeah,
that
no, for
on,
sure.
but
We could
I am
transition-
capable.
Yeah, from that to that.
to having a secretary who would work with whoever, whether it's Carrie from my office or if we end up.
I like your
getting-
idea though, with the I mean, if that does go through, then that
We could-
person can handle that.
Sure, yeah. It's, it's a lot to ask any of you guys or us
Yeah.
to sit there and do minutes.
Any organization you're a part of, it's
I've
becomes
been
a
the
full-time
secretary
job
for
pretty
stuff before.
quick. Yeah.
It's not
Not
fun.
great.
You become the point of contact.
I will absolutely make a motion for Riley to be secretary.
I'll second the motion.
okay.
long as he accepts.
This is deviating from the agenda, but it's fine by me. Has anybody got a problem with it? Got a motion and a second to make Riley Chu the designated secretary of the County Redevelopment Commission. Any discussion?
The motion by Doug, second by RJ.
Absolute motion.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it. Okay.
Congratulations.
Next item on the agenda, we have claims that need to be paid. The first three are utilities, and we probably should pay those before they shut the electricity or the water off. And Bill Peebles might now have something to do since we're getting some rain. But Duke Energy, Clinton Township Water, and Peebles Mowing are monthlies, and to be honest, I have already signed vouchers for those, so I do need your approval to pay them.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second motion.
Got a motion from Kelly Somerville, a second from RJ Donovan to approve the utility claims to Duke Energy, Clinton Township Water, and Peebles Mowing. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it. There are two other claims on the docket. One of them is ICS camera and security. They now have it hooked up. Our legal advisor actually has logged into it and watched the empty holes a time or two. And then the other one's from Baker Tilly for back in April and May when they were preparing our annual presentation of our TIF district stuff.
And Scott, all these payments are going out of the TIF area, is that right?
Mm-hmm. Those are, yeah,
The 27,000
and the ones above that.
and the ones above, okay. You want them separate, John, or do you want those together?
We can lump it, because I still got to sign two vouchers.
So together's okay?
Yeah, that's
All right,
fine.
I'll make a motion to approve the ICS camera security claim for $20,736 and the Baker Tilly invoice for $7,100 as presented.
I'll second.
Got a motion from RJ and a second from Doug to approve the claims ICS camera and security for $20,736 out of Ruby Pile, and for Baker Tilly for accounting work done on our annual presentation to the tune of $7,100. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it. Okay, the next item on the agenda is our Dana demolition. We were awarded the grant. I think RJ's probably more aware of it than we were because the commissioners actually are the recipients, correct? Or not?
Correct.
Anyway, in your stuff, I put a tentative invitation for bids that HWC is working on. What I didn't put in there, because I couldn't find it, was Christy Gerald's definition of the work, because any asbestos abatement that has to be done is prevailing wage. The rest of it, as far as the demo stuff, isn't necessarily prevailing wage. So it's gonna have to be bid as two separate projects, is my understanding. But in the invitation for bids, they are going to have a pre-bid meeting, or tentatively scheduled a pre-bid meeting for October 23rd. And that's when they'll actually discuss it and lay out the ground rules and all that stuff, provided that we approve this invitation for bids.
And if any local contractors are interested in a set of plans, they contact HWC, right?
Yeah, or they can contact us, because I've already had two contact me that definitely want to be included on the.
Okay.
And actually, all they got to do is get the invitation. If they, we'll be sending out invites,
Sure.
and then it tells them where they get their plans and all that stuff.
Okay.
But there have been two who have already contacted me directly. But anybody, you know, if they contact anybody,
Yep.
just send them.
Just sending this.
Yep.
All right.
Is the clause in here now for that asbestos?
Well,
Is it-
it's under Division B.
Okay. Okay, yeah, I see.
John, you need any action on this?
Well, we need to approve this, but do we need to approve the purchase of Haggard?
Well, it all ties into, it's all part of one thing here. It's,
That was my next question.
we're tearing down 3 buildings. One is owned by us, one is owned by the town of Dana, which we have an option to buy for $1. The other one is owned by Randy Haga, which we have an option to buy for $63,000 more than we've already paid. A long story, but ultimately it was decided that it was cheaper to tear down all three buildings than it was to tear down the first one and try and save the second one, or to tear down the first two and try and save the third one, because of the complicated, I mean, they're kind of all holding each other up. And so we had appraisals done of Haga's garage, and it came back at $70,000. We had 2 done. And so we entered into an option agreement with him. So we paid a couple payments to him to hold that option, but if we want to exercise that option, we need to let him know that. But we are going to have to do an additional appropriation to fund the match for this project, which will be subject to the county council's approval. That additional appropriation is going to be about $133,000, I think, that we're going to need. That's to make our match for the project. If we open the bids in November and award them later this, after that November commissioners meeting, we could go ahead and encumber those appropriations out of the additional appropriation for this year. Because I don't think that we probably will still be paying the contractor in 2026. But I did want to, it is going to require us to request this additional appropriation for the match.
Also, the cost of saving that building would be more than buying it and tearing it down.
So, the additional, what funds is the board?
1149. We need to use 1149 for that. Or general, we could use county general. We could do it we could advertise that anywhere you wanted to. Art.
Okay, I was just curious.
But, it's a little harder to, commissioners usually have some money in their budget for building demos. We could try and transfer that or something if you guys don't need
Yeah.
it, but I
What
know
is it,
this next year,
25,000
it's not
maybe?
very much.
Yeah, it's
like
very,
25.
yeah, 25 or 30,000. I don't know that we've used it for anything this
You
year.
probably haven't, so we might be able to do it
If we want to.
but ultimately,
It's not gonna cover the 133.
it's not gonna cover the 133 and an additional is gonna be needed.
Okay. So John, do you need a?
Hold
sorry,
on.
sorry.
100 North Maple is a building at the end of that block, right? The one that's got barricades now.
Yes, I believe that's correct.
And then 104 is the building that has 3 buildings and an extra, or is that a separate building on top of? Is that the one with the post office?
No,
No,
the post office is further down the road.
Okay. That's what I'm trying to sort out, everything that's going on over there.
I always come into Dana from the south, so to me, when I come across the tracks on my right-hand side,
That building.
that building has, now there's 3 buildings there, really.
Okay.
There's an old
So
laundromat.
is that all 3 of these addresses?
Well,
That's the whole contiguous block right there.
about half.
100, 104, and 116 are 3 inline addresses.
So it's that corner?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, that's what I was just trying to wrap my head around.
The post office building is on the other side of the street and a little bit north.
Okay.
It's across from the tavern in town hall. That goes in.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay. I just wanted to catch up to where I'm good. Go ahead.
So John, do you want 3 separate approvals?
Well, since they're all kind of tied together, I would think that one blanket approval should be
Move
sufficient.
forward with the Dana demo would be adequate. I mean, those are the 3 things we're gonna need to is advertise and let Randy know and then ask for the additional.
Okay, I will make a motion to approve moving forward with the Dana demo project, which includes purchasing the Haga property as previously approved, approving the bidding documents, advertising, and requesting an additional appropriation in the amount of $133,000, either be advertised in the 1149 fund or the county general.
Damn, he's got a good memory.
That's the way.
That post office building is 191.
Okay.
Have a second? Got a motion from RJ and a second from Kelly to blanketly approve the Dana demolition requirements and project, subject to the additional appropriations. Any discussion?
This is the one that we have the ready grant approved for already, correct?
Okra.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, because of EPA.
All right, that's all.
And I'll email you a copy of this bidding document so you guys will have it, and then that way somebody,
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
then somebody wants it.
We can just send it
email
out.
to them.
Okay.
And it's got all the pertinent info. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it. The next item on your agenda is the building next to the post office, and I put an email as well as an analysis by structure point in regard to what's going on with that building. And Scott, would you like to reiterate?
Well, and Cindy Taylor's on here, and Cindy, we're talking about, Tom Leahy, for Structure Point. Do you want to explain how come or why we had Tom out there looking at these buildings, or you want me to do that, or?
Well, I can briefly, we do have the structural report, you know, Chris is on here too. They did send us the full reports on Friday, I believe, so we'll get those to you. The problem, the main concern is that, he brought it to our attention immediately, the safety of being in or around those buildings. It's not safe, it wasn't safe for us to get access to the entire property to take samples that we needed to. So this is considered a building that needs to be addressed immediately, and should, the post office should be aware that their site has some issues as well, and I guess it's up to them to figure out how to handle that, or how they want to handle it, but they should have the information because of the concerns to the occupancy.
And Cindy, my understanding, and please correct the record if I'm not saying this right, is Tom came over to look at several properties that we own that would be, we are in the process of seeking some brownfield demo grant money, for lack of a better way to explain it. So Tom came over to look at several properties that we own, to assess them from an engineering perspective, structural perspective. And the other properties that we have, I'm sure, aren't great structurally, but for the most part. But this one was really a concern to him. I did speak with him. He went into the post office and told him, "You guys shouldn't probably be in here. It's dangerous. This whole thing could collapse." There's a second floor above. This was, I mean, Kelly knows the building. I've seen it for 15, 20 years. It's one building, really. It has a staircase in the middle that goes up. There were apartments on the second floor. Many years ago, 20 years ago maybe.
The fire?
The fire.
Oh.
There was a fire, and the second floor is mostly, the walls are still there, but inside I've seen pictures of the inside, and it looks like there was a fire. It's just charred and stuff. Downstairs, you had the post office on one side, and then on the other side was a restaurant. And I went back, I could go back to 2010, as far back as I could go online. The taxes were not being paid. They weren't being paid in 2010 and hadn't been paid for several years before. So this thing, it was two owners, owner of the restaurant and what was above the restaurant, owner of the post office and what was above the post office. So there was a fire. Nobody's lived in the apartments for many years. Sure. Downstairs, though, you still had the restaurant on one side and the post office on the other. Well, the restaurant, I don't know when it closed, 15 years ago, 20, maybe 20
years ago.
Right? And it's just been sitting there racking up unpaid taxes. It go into the tax sale, nobody buys it. It goes into the commissioner's sale, nobody buys it. Because it's
dilapidated.
Yeah, I mean, it's got negative value. So we took ownership of it a year and a half or so ago. We tried to get it included as part of this Okra grant that we were getting for Dana, but Okra refused to allow us to include it because of the post office. Even though I was able to show them that the post office is in a separate property and they're only leasing the ground floor of it, and they didn't care. The owner of the post office building has actually put a new wall up on his side, new stucco wall up on his side of the building, because it was also in bad shape and the bricks were giving way. So he just put a new wall up on top of it. John spoke with the owner of that property to ask him, we would basically give him rest of it, and he was smart enough to say no, I guess, to that. So we are stuck with a building that is half of a building that is in very, very poor shape. And so what the problem is that
Reliable.
well, we can all look at it. We're all varying degrees of aptitude able to look at this building and go, yeah, that ain't good. I can look at it and say it isn't good, but if I had to go in court and testify, I would not be able to. Well, it just doesn't look real good. The bricks look like they're about to give way. There's gaps here and there. Tom is a structural engineer who can go in and give us a very thorough inspection that will tell us a couple of things. One, is there a way to tear down half the building without the whole thing going, which I'm not sure there is. And if the whole building is unsafe, a action could be taken to force it to be torn down. Now, obviously, we're willing to tear down. The problem is the post office side.
Yes, and we have the full report. Chris, I don't know if you can maybe share a screen, but that was that was the site. American Spectral Point immediately sent a note about his concerns. You know, he said it's part of his responsibility as a structural engineer to share that information immediately of his review and assessment. And the full report should be available now. Scott, I guess we could send that to your email.
Yeah.
And anybody else's email.
Yeah, who would be best to do that? Because essentially, all 4 reports, structural assessments that we had Tom do, came back with kind of the same observations and conclusions that they are all, you know, they all have a localized collapse. They could have a localized collapse at any moment, and they're in imminent danger, and as well as structurally unstable.
And they're inhabited.
This one is the only one
That's,
that, yeah.
that's worse than.
The others, it's.
Yeah, is okay, but yeah, I know the deal with we all understand the post office situation and it being kind of a central place. People like to go in and out. I think maybe Chris was talking about some of the alternatives to keep a post office operation there. He lives in a rural community down in southern Indiana, so he's even seen them in like temporary or like trailer type setups. But I'm not sure who you need to let know at the post office. It's a postmaster, but they should have this information available to them. Now that we have it. But the reason we started these structural assessments is we are planning to apply for a cleanup grant from the EPA, and this is part of the process and the requirements that you have to put in the grant application. Prepare the grant application. This is a part of it. In some cases, this is good news. Other than the post office site, the reason this is good news is that you don't have to get a separate abatement contractor. They have to go through the whole abatement process, remove the asbestos before the building's torn down. All the reports say the buildings are not structurally safe to go in and abate the buildings as they are. So they'll need to be demolished, similar to the one that you did previously, and then, you know, we'll do some kind of clearance sampling once they're demolished. And that can be done under the current grant that we have as far as clearance testing. So, Chris, do you have anything to add to that?
No, I mean, I think you've covered it. I think the main thing is we just want everybody to be safe, especially folks that are working in the post office. So whatever alternative, I know that's not an easy feat, finding an alternative, but, you know, I talked with Tom Leahy as well, and he seemed very concerned with that post office structure.
Does it have asbestos in it? You might know.
I don't know. Did he look for any sign of asbestos in it? Or is that?
I thought we had confirmed asbestos and lead-based paint in that structure as well.
We did have lead-based paint, which is not an issue during demolition. It's just a, you know, worker safety issue that they have to just wear proper face mask protection, but it's not typically an issue during demolition. typically an issue if the site's either residential or, going to be, it's just a renovation and it might have, residential end use of it. So the blood-based paint is not a concern. It does have, it is checked for asbestos, but I don't exactly have the items that were, came back positive. It could be floor tile, which is considered non-friable, roofing non-friable, and then some other, I think it's non-friable, items that are considered asbestos containing, which can be disposed of normally in a landfill. Not like it's pipe insulation or things like that. So we need to double check the materials, and then the materials that we assumed based on it wasn't safe to access the full facility, I think especially on the second floor.
Yes, Cindy, I went ahead and brought up our original, I found our original ACM lead-based paint report. So it looks like, yeah, it's looking like they did it in 2023. Took 50 samples. Yeah, I mean, there it looks like some ceiling plaster, mostly ceiling plaster is what's coming up. Some glazing, wall plaster. Yeah, I think that's about it.
So yeah, we may have to, that might be something at the end of the demo that does have to be kind of picked out as best we can, because that is a friable material.
And the roof is also assumed to be asbestos as well, Cindy.
Yeah, I think we can dispose, the roof can be disposed of normally in a landfill. But the plaster is a concern.
Correct.
Chris, did we do any point counting on that plaster, do you know?
Let's see, they got it in a big table here.
Yeah.
So basically,
Yes, they did. They did do it on the ceiling plaster. They did point count.
Okay. And it still came above the limits.
Looks to be, yeah. So,
So does that mean we'll
I
need,
apologize, everybody. I'm just checking the laboratory data too. That way
yeah,
we're all on the same page. So yeah, it looks like they did point count. It still came back as asbestos.
basically heads we lose, tails we lose.
Heads we lose, tails we lose, because we take a risk to condemn the building that the post office moves out of Dana.
Well,
That's the way it is.
but it's a little bit like being the doctor who's just reading the x-ray here at some level. And we're not the ones who made the building this way or created this problem. We're just the ones
We inherited it.
inheriting the x-rays and telling them that.
So who's going to be responsible for sending this report to the postmaster?
We can get it. I can get it to them.
Well, I just want to make sure they're.
But I know I talked to Tom. He did go into the post office and talk to the. What is it? So when's that lady who's in the post
Lindsay Pollard.
office? Lindsay Pollard, and talk to her about it. But I think technically they're out of the Clinton postmaster is sort of over them.
Okay.
I also know that a couple of years ago, Doug Hess went to the postmaster and talked about it. Doug Hess even got somebody from Congressman Bouchon's office up today to look at it and talk about it. You know, it's not a great building. It's really not a very safe building, even if we're able to salvage it. That upstairs is not good because it's
I mean,
caught fire.
how'd the government okay the lease
They've been
for the
there
property?
and they just, I don't know. I mean,
I mean, you know, because I'm like, if they're gonna okay a lease, wouldn't they have to have proof of insurance? And I mean, you're handling other people's mail, so the building
good
could fall
point.
down at any time. I mean, I don't
who
know
would
how it's
insure a
even gotten
building
this
like that.
far.
yeah, I don't know who would, given its
Good
condition.
point.
And fire they had upstairs. Post office is just leasing that ground floor of it. So I did get a copy of their lease at one point from the post office with Freedom of Information Act request to get it, but to try and get Okra to give us the grant money, and unsuccessful. So
Where we're at is
I will
definitely.
if Cindy can email me that, I'll get them that, let them know that we are planning on having, well, hopefully we're planning on having a structural engineer go in and he did spend some time there, I know, but I think the idea here would be he could go back and, he's already been there once, but look, and particularly there is a wall of, where there's a stairwell that goes up in between, there's a wall of some kind there. But whether it's
It's an interior wall.
an interior wall,
It is
probably not
load-bearing.
load-bearing. It is
It
load
would be
bearing.
load bearing.
So there may be some way. You probably wouldn't want them in there while you're doing it, but while you might be able to just tear down one side of it, relocate them during the tear down. I've seen that done with the demo of the old bowling alley in Clinton. We had to move some people out of the building next door while we tore it down for safety issues. Then once the tear down was complete.
What would that do to the school, Jason?
The school's there's enough room there.
There's enough room.
Yeah, there's big.
That's my only other.
Maybe no recess for a while.
Yeah. Build them a
So I think
build them a
the
recess lot
second floor
across.
is open, like it's one.
It
there's
is.
no wall in
I think so.
between, is that correct?
I think so. I think that's correct. 'Cause I've seen photos. I feel like I've seen pictures of the interior, and it's just one big long hallway with apartments upstairs that were all burned out.
Yeah, fairly certain as well, that's the,
Moment
way
diamond
it
fire.
is set up.
We're all burned out. It was just a fire right above the restaurant.
They didn't get burned out on the other side, Bill? Was there a wall?
I don't think anybody, anything made it across over top of the post office. I think
Smoke,
the fire
maybe.
was contained, yeah, maybe smoke, but the fire was contained in the living room or the bedroom of that apartment that was right straight up above the highway there.
I just remember seeing these pictures of like a hallway with burned out stuff, but I couldn't tell how, geographically where I was inside the building. I've never been up on that second floor, so I wouldn't want to.
Yeah, I think tearing part of it down would probably render the whole thing even more structurally unsound. I mean, they're connected.
Agreed.
I'm not an expert, but I've seen it happen in Lawrenceburg where they have row houses, where they have to basically rebuild the entire internal wall structures before they tear it down, stabilize it completely before part of it's torn down. Which might probably cost a lot more than, just getting it torn down altogether. But I know the postmaster needs to be informed. I don't know if GSA is part of their, since it's a kind of a quasi-governmental agency, I don't know if GSA oversees those properties where post office has their facilities. I'm not sure how that all works. But, I mean, it's only our responsibility to notify, now that we know the information, and then their responsibility to act on that information, I think.
Does the postal service have any of these temporary trailers you're talking about, or is that something they'd have to do themselves, or? The temporary
Well, I would say
maintenance,
that
post
Because
office.
it's
the
lease
post office in
service.
Clinton was closed for a couple months. They had to do some sort of major,
They sent everybody to Blanford.
send everybody to Blanford for a couple months.
Okay.
Now, So I don't know how, if they do something similar here, or St. Bernice is a little closer, Dana, if they could just send everybody to get their mail to Dana for a while. I mean, ultimately, I don't know where this is gonna end up. I think it'd be helpful to have a thorough report from that structural engineer to tell us what the options are. And
There's no options.
I think you're probably right, but, you and me saying that.
Anything's
we have-
possible, but
Go forward on
makes
it.
the
Well, yeah,
most
it costs-
sense, you know.
3 times what it'd be to build a new one. Try to say that.
Not only that, your fix may only last 5 years.
Right.
You're back
If
to
you
the
if
same
you're
boat.
gonna fix a problem, fix it right the first time.
Well, we only own half that
Something.
building. so
Building
we-
That's the caveat.
That's the other
But the,
problem.
but the
If
issue,
we- If the structural engineer says the whole thing has to go down, we will have to have, probably the county health department will have to get involved. To be honest
I
with you.
mean, the brick and mortar are decaying in the entire building
Yeah,
also.
backside
That's
that
why he
wall.
covered that up, it was rotten,
Um,
the brick rotten.
because Dana does not have the resources or the money to engage a condemnation. So we would probably have to get county health involved.
Is the owner local?
Pardon me?
Is the
No.
owner of the post office in local?
Lives in Ohio or Indianapolis.
Pardon,
absentee.
Where's he live, the owner of the post
Yes.
office?
Oh, Mooresville, I think. Or, well, it was Mooresville. It was owned by one guy for a long time. He lived in Mooresville, and then he sold it to like his brother-in-law.
Well, I think they're jointly owned. That's the way that one
Okay.
guy talked.
Absentee property owners. Okay.
It's been
They
a problem in Dana
employ-
for 20 years. I mean, it's just been sitting there deteriorating. The school had come to the town board a couple of times worried about it because
Right.
the
Adjacent.
playground, bricks and things like that. It's,
They employ 2,
no,
not even.
just one,
Just
just one post office part-time, right, Kelly?
Yeah, just one person there.
Okay.
Scott, this proposal before us is for this structural engineer to go look at it,
Yeah, that's,
to let the RDC know what the options would be,
yeah.
or we forego it entirely. So what report did they get Friday, or the report they're?
I haven't seen it.
Okay,
so
you haven't seen it
I
yet.
haven't seen that. So he was only there, he went to a bunch of properties on the same day. So he was in Dana for a little while, an hour or two. But I talked to him, I know the one thing he talked about doing was going in and looking more closely at that interior wall. He felt safe doing it to see if he thought there was an option. Is there an option to tear down? Is it salvageable?
So this report that they have that they're talking about, we're gonna send to the post office?
Yeah,
It's
I'll
already
send
been,
that to
I mean,
them
it's
for
already,
now.
that report's already been paid for?
It's part of
And
this.
Scott, I just forwarded.
Part of the brownfield.
Okay.
Okay, so it's been forwarded to, I haven't seen it. so-
Okay, well, I guess I'm just asking, is this here says not to exceed $10,000, and if we have a document on its way to us that says it's, not structurally sound, that's where I'm getting at is
I felt like, and I haven't seen it, but we might need something a little bit more
more,
thorough
okay.
than, because I know he said he was there for, I don't remember, he said an hour or two, an hour and a half. At some point, somebody called the cops on him. So the sheriff showed up and he had to talk his way out of going to jail, because they saw him, he
Needs a badge.
yeah.
I'm an engineer.
And he did go into the post office and talk to him at the post office, but we can give some official notice, to the postmaster so we can show him we did this. I'm thinking,
Yeah.
I'm really trying to think ahead here. If we
Yeah.
have to go to court and, or somewhere and enforce this, we need to get the health department involved.
You're gonna have this.
I think you're gonna need a real expert's report.
Do we feel that he could get that even with the building being unsafe?
He felt like he could, he went in it. I know
Well, it stinks. I mean, our board,
I know,
our
it's-
board will look like the bad guy no matter what.
it's like having a,
Because we can't have this information and
hide it.
you know,
You can't sit
and
on
then
it.
somebody gets hurt. I mean,
It's like having it's
or even
like
worse.
having, we sometimes have inmates who have bad illnesses and we have to pay for all their medical care, and it's just, we inherit these problems and we're stuck with them.
Yeah. I mean, you could always get another another opinion, but we basically are a third party. We have no stake in this outcome of this. And neither does the structural engineer, so, I mean, it's.
Structural engineers are also, there aren't a lot of, I know we've used Mike Walbeezer on quite a few things. He's a guy out of Terre Haute. He's quite good. I like Mike a lot, but I felt like since Tom had already been there and he's not starting from scratch, when he comes out there, he's gonna maybe be more efficient about it and more familiar with it. So that was.
Yeah, that's always an option, and the postmaster may wanna do that on their own.
Yeah, they may want to have somebody look at it too. I don't know.
So what's your pleasure? Do you guys wanna, I already signed the bill and.
Oh, okay.
So like, we've communicated
need
our
the remote-
findings with the current owner?
people, Scott.
I don't think so. I think this report.
I mean, I think that's kind of where we need to start, is say, this is what we found. The adjacent build, I mean,
I think.
I don't know.
I think Riley makes a good point for the starting point, and I know Scott's, I think, thinking on the right track here of, looking forward on this. However, right now, our side of the building's unoccupied. We're not doing anything with it. I think once this report that they're talking about makes it hands to the postmaster, to the owner of the building, that the federal government is going to have to step in and say, hey, if we have this report, we can't allow this post office to be occupied any longer. So I think that should be our first step, and then maybe sit on this report or this proposal and look at it. But I think immediately it needs to be sent to the postmaster and the owner of that building with that information that we've got.
It needs to be condemned as soon as possible.
Our side isn't, we don't own both sides of the building though. We only own,
We're responsible for unsafe buildings, aren't we? For making sure.
Well, I think so, but I also think we're responsible for notifying,
we need to let the owner of that building, I know they're connected, but I
Well,
think
I'm sure Lindsay's told him already.
but it's gonna have some clout coming from our board, our county, you know what I mean? Like, it's.
Well, we're all on
But
notice
if we,
here.
I think we're all moving towards the same thing. But approving this would probably fast track it.
I think we need to.
Yeah, it's not something I want to drag out either, but I just want to make sure no one's surprised or felt blindsided on the rollout of this. But it's important information that does need to be passed along. I don't want to slow that down.
Well, this here is more to give us our options, right? I mean, because the concern is the people that are in the building right now. That's priority one, is their occupants in the building that most likely should not be there on the federal government side. That's priority one. And two would be once they're moved out of the building falling down, or just like the other building on Main Street of Dana there. That would be the next option, or the next issue.
If you look at the crack on the front of that building,
No, I've seen it.
my
It looks like a
concern
printer
also
mistake, but
is somebody walking down the street might
Yeah.
get a brick on the noggin and.
or even someone's
Or
vehicle.
front wall
you
on
know,
their noggin.
Yeah. Now
someone's
that's,
vehicle
Yeah.
past the curbing. I mean, it's
80 or 90% of a building's strength comes out of the corners.
You're talking about the occupants of that building, and that could be any number of people going to get their mail.
Well,
all
sure.
throughout the open hours of the
Yeah,
post
people
office.
go
Or
in.
just,
Right.
just
Well, I think
down the
that's
street.
why it's so important to get the report to the postmaster, because this structure point won't do anything for that. I mean, they've got to see in writing that building should not be occupied.
That's
Us
fine.
approving this won't stop. I mean, that
Right.
won't stop
Yeah,
them
we-
from getting people out.
but if we have the report from Structure Point, then the county could move forward and condemn the whole shooting match quicker, correct?
Yes. that's
Good.
it.
Is the county, is Hagus property that we have getting ready to possibly purchase, is the town of Dana getting ready to do anything with that? Because we're going to, we're involved in the situation, because what I'm trying to be is proactive for that post office. Because we need to find a viable place for that post office to go, because
exactly.
for Dana to lose that post office is devastating.
Yeah.
It will be everything, That's, you lost a school, now you're losing a post
It's a
office.
grocery store.
But if Dana is getting ready to do something with this
Dealership.
Hagen
Farm
property,
equipment. I mean, it's.
The town would like the property that we're tearing down.
yes,
Yes. I know, I'm town lawyer, they would like that property because they would like to build a new utility, building on there. I gotta plug in. That was one of the conversations I had a year or two ago when we met with the congressman's office about putting a new post office across the
that's
street.
what I'm
the
talking
Ohio
about,
post
being
office or whatever.
proactive.
Yes.
Would be wonderful. The post office, I remember this now, the post office doesn't own their own buildings anymore for the most part. They want to rent, so somebody would, they were like, well, somebody wanted to build a building over here. You know, that'd make a great place for us to have our new post office.
What's Dana want to do with it?
Build a utility shed,
Utility shed.
On three lots.
not on all three.
Park
no.
their stuff.
That's a pretty big
Why
utility
couldn't they put
shed
that over on the John Deere lot?
to invest $500,000
Well, that's
into a
on the
town.
John Deere lot behind the town.
They might have to put it there too. They also
Okay.
talked about putting
Better
some kind of
businesses on three
building,
lots.
maybe I've
If
got
we spend $500,000.
storage mixed up. Maybe utility sheds there and a new town hall would be on.
That would be,
Thing is,
maybe.
See, I thought we
you know,
were talking
what
about a town hall on the Hagen
we're
property.
coming in and-
They depend on who you talk to. They asked,
We need a
the new
strategic
clerk treasurer asked me about it last
plan
week.
of
about building a
replacement,
utility
or at
shed.
least some, you know.
But if we could get something proactive and get them in line to build, they may not lose that post office. Enough said.
Well, the problem being when I was up there, when they were stuck on that, and I talked to the guys that were doing it as well as half the owners, they had no interest in trying to help us out as far as making sure that upstairs wall was stable. All they were worried about was the septic. And he flat out told me on the phone.
There's no saving it.
Is there any way, Scott, you can talk to them about, you know, what would the town people in the next meeting they have about?
Oh, yeah.
Can you be proactive and help us out?
Yes, yeah. Town, the town has some money to build this utility shed left over from a project is why they're looking at doing that. Plus, they're gonna lose the building they have now when we demo it. So waiting for that all to come down and build a new one may not timeline wise work. They would like the new town hall. Town hall building's not in the greatest shape ever either. I don't know if they can afford that.
On one hand,
Yeah, I don't think they can
Well, I
afford that.
think, I think this is a longer discussion for another time, but I think we all want to help these towns at the best we can, but we need to find the best use of these properties when we're spending $500,000 tearing them down. And if the best use of 3 lots is one utility shed, so be it, but I think we should really open our ideas and vision up to see what we can put on these lots and not just turn over 3 lots to, say, a town and say, here you go, do what you want with them. I think we need to be collaborative, we need to work together and make sure we find the best use for those lots to help grow some of these towns again. But, John, do you want a motion on this structure point proposal?
I would like one.
I'll make a motion to approve the structure point proposal as presented to the board this morning.
And this is for a deeper,
Not to exceed 10,000, yeah.
a deeper look into the building's about to fall down.
Yep.
I'll second it.
I have a motion from RJ and a second from Doug to approve a contract with American Structure Point for an in-depth examination of the building at 175 and a half Maple is the address, but it's actually located at 191 Maple, which shows it at the post office. They don't know what they're doing either. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it. Okay, and while we're still in Dana, I got a postcard from 550 Congressional Boulevard, Suite 390 in Carmel, Indiana, from Zach and Ethan. that says, what are your plans for 425 North Birch Street, which is the residential property that we own in Dana that sits on a corner lot? We're prepared to make an offer that I'd like to discuss with you. Please call or text the office at 812-718-2063 if you are interested in selling. Now, it would be nice to be able to sell it and let them take care of the demolition, and we'd have a couple of dollars. But what's your pleasure?
I would like to instruct, if the board is approving, that the president of the board reach out to these individuals and see what their plans are and have them make a formal proposal or offer to you in writing so you can share with the board for review.
Somebody's restoring a house one block over to the east right now. Yeah, just tearing down the studs and doing it right. So,
These people are from Carmel, and they didn't put a business name, and I didn't bother to spend my background check fee to look this guy up yet.
Just kind of a personal note, basically. Huh.
Yeah, well, kind of, but it's a fancy postcard.
Yeah.
But people in Carmel.
Handwritten?
Well, it's kind of hand printed, Riley.
Okay.
But it looks like it went through a
Yeah,
computer.
yeah.
I'll go look at it and see if it can be saved or not.
Well, I looked at it.
Generates cash flow. Immediate cash flow.
The latest picture that the county has. I thought I printed off and put in my stash. But I apparently I didn't.
We need to come look at things in Vermillion County.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So I wanted to instruct John to talk to them and see what they want to do. And we may have more than just one in Vermillion County.
Well, I can do that if that's what your pleasure is, but I wanted to bring it before you before we did anything. The property card, they must have gone, no, they didn't go and reassess it. They're still assessing it at $10,000, which we don't pay taxes. But it's only 1/1500ths of an acre.
It's not a house.
If we can get somebody to buy it and do something with it, I'd be tickled to death, especially if we don't have to pay for demolition.
The stats of that property, I would offload the rest
I will.
onto them.
I'll call these people and then email everybody.
All right, thank you, John.
Like a plan.
Okay, now, next item, that owner occupied grant, that was denied, correct?
Yes.
But we have an invoice from Thrive for our share of $5,000. Do we have to pay?
Well, it's 5,000 from multiple agencies, wasn't it? I mean,
The match for the grant was gonna come from. Well, no, that one was one we were gonna do the
It
match
was-
all ourselves.
well, no, yeah, I think you're right, because I think the housing study was.
Housing study.
Housing study was mixed, and then this one was
This
all.
one was the county was gonna put, we were gonna put in 50 or something and get, or 55 and get.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a good question for Ryan Keller, John. I mean, me and you had sat through a couple meetings, and we were all but told we were gonna be funded for it. You know, we'd done more work than any other, county. In conversations with some Thrive representation, they have said that Okra had said one thing and then done something different, so yeah. So, you can ask Ryan on it, but I didn't know they did do the work, but, Okra is saying something different now than what I guess was said a few months ago.
Well, this invoice was dated August 28th, which our last meeting was on the 25th, and it's for $5,000, and I have not paid it.
We have held off on that one just to see, because I think there was a question, it's not the way it was framed to me, it's not that we didn't get the grant that happens, it's that we weren't eligible.
That's what the Okra saying, yeah.
Yeah.
Okra saying due to the Dana demo, you weren't even eligible to apply.
Right.
That's what the main project, yeah. So then you go back and say, if you weren't eligible to apply, why did we
So anyway, we're not gonna pay it, is that?
Talk to Ryan.
I think, yeah, I mean, I would defer to you, John, as the president, if you want to reach out to Ryan Keller and, because there's several things, yeah. Yeah, I would just reach out to Ryan, that would be my preference.
Anybody else got a different preference? Alright. I will call him. Alright, the next item on the agenda, and boy, they've been sitting there all excited. They even moved up closer where they could hear us. We have the Simpsons in the audience to talk about the Newport property, which is actually catty-cornered across the street from here. And it's my understanding that you had made a verbal suggestion or offer to Scott, and so we're asking you to tell us all what's your pleasure.
I had bought the building next to that building. No, it's an eyesore. Not only that, is it's getting quite dangerous. The building needs to go, quite honestly. And being it is adjacent to the property I bought, that would be handy for me, of course. I'm proposing that the council get 3 bids. Whatever those 3 bids equal out to, I would do for half, which is basically cost of tearing that down. Her and I want the lot. I want a table there, a place for I might sit down for my business. It only makes sense. It saves county money. I get what I want. County gets what they want. That is my proposal. The building itself. That is, anybody can see it. It needs to be period. It's getting me quite a bit. Plus, I just bought the building next to it. It goes down on my building. I'm out of the building.
Yeah.
So I think everybody gets a win-win out of this. I don't make money, but as long as I'm not dishing out a bunch of money to tear it down, I'm happy.
You'd save us a bunch of money by making that deal.
Jeff?
You'd save us a lot of money making that deal.
It would, and I work with the county quite a bit. I do tree work for y'all, and I've never gouged the county. I figure that the county roads need to take care of. If I got a bucket truck to do tree work for a minimal price, I do. Well, same deal here. If I can do the work for minimal price, I'm gonna do it.
Paige Kilgore has got one of those arched windows out of there and salvaged it, and she's got it stored, and she was gonna try to take the second one.
No.
Okay, so you're aware of it, and you know how to get to them, because if we do cut the deal, those are actually your windows to do with what you want.
So her family used to live there, and she come to me and I said, it's not our property, I can't give you permission. But I did give her permission to keep them if we did end up with the property.
Okay. Well, she got a hold of me and said she did get one of them out and wanted to know about the other one, and I said, if you can get it out without hurting yourself, go for it, but
Right.
whoever ends up with the building does have first strike to them.
Right.
Right.
Yes,
No, we've talked to her about
we've
that,
talked
being
to
that
her.
it wasn't her family. We said
Okay.
we didn't care.
So Jeff, on your proposal, you said the county get 3 bids. Are you wanting us to put out for bid, or?
Well,
Because if we do it, then the number could be pretty high.
well, that's what I'm
Okay,
saying is there's a
here's the
conflict of
issue.
interest if I go to companies and say, hey, I need a bid to tear this building down, and they know what I'm going to do, they're gonna fudge their,
I feel
that's
like
the part
it's a
I don't get.
conflict of interest for us to ask for.
Right. So I don't want them to lowball the bid thinking, oh, you know,
Well, what
I
if-
want it to be fair.
What if the RDC entered into an agreement with the Simpsons, since they basically, want it for the teardown price or whatever? Because what if we entered into an agreement and said you pay? Because if you have a contractor yourself, your proposal that they'll tear the building down, and we enter an agreement that says you get this lot for $5,000 or whatever, and then he's responsible, just like that investor from Carmel that wants to buy a house, and then the RDC is not involved in the tear down whatsoever. It would be strictly up to the investors here to get the building tore down.
Well, since it's under the limit, we don't have to put it up for bids.
We have, yeah, demo stuff, well, first of all, we did put this out for offer anyone to buy it and got no offers. So we can do what we want with it as far as selling it at this point, okay? But John's right, we don't have to go out, the reason we have to do the building in Dana and go through a very formal bidding process is because of Okra and all those things. We can do it, that RJ, what you said could work. The other thing, I had talked to Stephanie a little bit about this, Jeff, is I don't want to go through something and I feel bad calling 3 people and say, hey, we want you to bid on this, and then we're not really gonna.
You're not
we're
gonna.
not gonna give it to them,
It's
but-
just data collection, it's
but
not.
there's
no
a
perceived
guy,
bidder. Yeah.
Rasmus from Chrisman, Illinois, close to Dana. He's been very good to us. We haven't actually had any work for him yet, but he's done some good demo work around this area. I thought about just asking if maybe we could ask him, hey, what would you, send him a couple pictures of it if he wants to come look at it, and we could, if he wants some time, give him a couple $100 or something, give us an estimate of what he charged to tear it down. And then we could use that maybe.
I'm all right.
He did a real good job on a couple over in Montezuma I had him do, and he was very reasonable in his price.
Yeah, or even Eric Smith, since he came in low
Yeah,
on
Eric
the
would be fine,
Masonic
I don't care.
Lodge. I mean, I'm just thinking since he came in what 200,000 under or 100,000.
He did. He was under Rasmus on that.
You know, so I mean, and he's local too. I don't know if Rasmus lives in the county, but Eric pays a lot.
Yeah, he lives over in Illinois.
Okay, I mean, I wouldn't mind who
Talk
we
to
add.
both of them and get a meeting.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't want to invite people to bid it with, and then the bids come in at 150,000. You're like, I'm not giving 75,000 for a corner lot of a building.
Right.
Yeah,
I get you. That's just something.
He's not giving, we're giving him 75,000.
We'd be giving,
Well, it'd be half. Yeah.
I mean, he wants it
And
to
our
be as high
contract
as
with-
possible.
with them would be to do the demo, and then they'd end up with ownership of it. Now, whether you do it yourself or,
I'll do it myself.
yeah, he do it himself.
I've got a talented man on my career. Dave Turnbull works for me. He's a union's operator. I talked to him about it. He says, yeah, if you rip me that same excavator you rented me last year to do the big land clearing we'd over in Clinton, he's like, that don't come down no time flat. We don't have a problem with that.
Then we don't have to worry about your building next door.
Not our headache.
I mean, what we could really basically do is it's like selling it to him, but we're paying him to take it. I mean, we're paying him to take it, and in exchange for that, he agrees to have the building torn down and cleaned up within whatever 4 months.
X amount of time. Yeah.
So,
Well, I think it's a great proposal.
Yeah.
How do we move forward from this here? I mean, since there's nothing in
Well,
writing.
there is
That's my
something.
question. How do we move forward on this?
And Cindy's on here too, and I just talked to Stephanie about this morning. So there are some, and Cindy and Chris, they sent me a report on Friday again, that they found what they call a recognized environmental concern in their phase 1. And it is
Well,
because
he
there
wants
was
money.
evidence that
He
there
wants
was
money from us to help tear it down.
something called the wash house.
Half the
Off the
money
letter,
it costs,
235
he wants
extension
from us.
street. 235
So
extension
yet he's saving us
Street.
at the same time.
which is 775 feet southeast. So south.
Yeah, and
We put it
that
up
was like the
bids, he can
general
bid it,
extension
whatever
street
he
address.
wants.
After looking at some other
He's gotta have
information,
an
it may have
estimate
been
of
a
what he can do.
235 west extension, which
Don't you
kind
Other
of
people?
puts it
know
to
for
the
who, if he does
southwest
it, it'll cost $50.
across Extension Street. But essentially,
We would-
we're about to issue
Yeah,
this
we're
phase
paying
2 report, which is us going out and
Do it
drilling
himself.
and
He
kind
can
of a
probably tear it
summary of
down
our
half of all these
results.
companies.
But we've
got.
essentially found chlorinated
Break even.
solvents indicative of dry cleaning operations in the groundwater beneath 155 Extension Street. So that is an actual concern here. I mean, from our standpoint, we did not find it in the corresponding soil gas, which is good, but it is certainly in the groundwater, roughly around 18 to 20 feet below ground surface, which isn't a huge concern right now, but we also are unable to delineate or find out the extent of the contamination there because the building's obviously there still, and the thick brush to the north of the building is still there as well. And we contemplated actually removing some of that, put another soil boring in. However, with the structural issues that we've been talking about, we don't want to remove all those trees and move that, and then that be the straw that breaks the camel's back, so to speak. And you know, the building's pretty rough, obviously. So that was kind of our rationale for that. But essentially, what our phase 2 report will recommend that the rest of the site be delineated to find out the extent of potential contamination. With regards to this wash house property, which may have done dry cleaning in addition to the underground storage tanks that were west adjoining in that, I believe, vacant building right across the street.
So now, Chris, help me out here because we got a couple things happening at the same time here. You guys are still doing your environmental stuff. You found some evidence of contaminated groundwater with cleaning solvents in it that is present on the property. So what we could head towards here potentially, though, would be some kind of environmental restrictive covenant, I assume, with IDEM?
Right, and yeah, probably something like that. That would be a comfort letter.
Yeah.
Like say we sell it, or the Vermillion County sells it, you know, he would be a prospective purchaser.
Right.
A bona fide prospective purchaser, therefore he would not be liable, as nor would you guys, for any contamination that we find there.
And there'd be a...
I mean, honestly, we'd never know. I doubt you'd ever find a responsible party of who would be responsible for any of that contamination. But yeah, likely it would require an environmental restrictive covenant on the deed. Which may include a couple other things, but I can't definitively say that unless we did more investigation, which they will require, which IDEM in this case would require as well. Like right now, we can only do 3 borings on the west side of the property, but really, I think to get their good graces, we have to do at least 1 more boring, either where the brush and the trees in the back are, or potentially also where the building would be, assuming you demolish it. Because we know that it's got a dirt floor, so we should be able to advance a boring somewhere there and get some data. Either say yes or no.
So what we're talking about here is a environmental restrictive covenant it's like a deed restriction that goes when you buy and sell property. It would go on this property forever. Likely would say at a minimum something like you can't have a well for public consumption of drinking water. If the groundwater is contaminated,
correct.
You know, you can't use it, or you can't use it for human consumption. You can't have a daycare on top of it, that sort of stuff. It doesn't mean that we want to get this, if we're going to sell this and Simpsons are going to use it, we want to get it to them in a way where they're not going to have any future liability, or EPA comes in and decides this groundwater needs to be cleaned up or something, that they're off the hook. It's like a comfort letter is like a get out of jail free card, I call it. IDEM says we're not going to come after you for this contamination, even though you own the property.
Sure.
So I know I'm talking a lot. We wouldn't want to transfer the property until this process was done. Okay, but we could still move forward with some kind of agreement to do the demo with a transfer to happen once this environmental stuff is complete.
And it'll be a parking lot.
Yeah, you're not gonna put a well out there and be selling,
So
hot
Scott,
water to people. So.
From this point forward, if the majority of the board's in favor, which I think from what I've heard, I think the majority is, because it saves you money, gets rid of an eyesore, and somebody local here gets to utilize it. What does that look like? Does that look like them reaching out and getting those quotes, and the work on you working out a simple agreement?
I think we should reach out to get a quote.
The board?
Yeah.
And then share that with you guys and say,
Sure.
Here's what it is. If it's 10 grand, we'd say, okay, you'll tear it down. We do a contract for them to tear it down for 5, and then we would agree to transfer the property to them once this environmental process is complete and the demo is complete. And
sure.
All that.
So
No, zero on it, Scott.
Pardon me?
100 grand.
100 grand to tear that down?
Let's tear that building down?
Yeah. You think so?
Based on these other ones, it wouldn't.
Well, that one seems similar to because it's not connected to the.
To a building or
There's
Another building getting inside.
That one in Q wasn't connected either, it was just a story taller.
It had all,
180
but we
grand.
had to do all that wet demo and Jeff, it's his building next door, so.
Yeah, so that's a little bit easier.
I bet you it's 80 to 100.
You think it'd be that much?
Yeah.
Well, we'll get it, I don't know, maybe it's more, I don't know, yeah.
So we're just gonna get proposals then?
I was just, well, that's the.
Because you don't want to be, because bids are going to be very detailed and proposals.
I think
can be-
I want to just I wondered if we couldn't get Eric Smith or Rasmus or both and say, hey, would you guys just go take a look? We have somebody we think's going to do it. You make a deal with us. Would you give us
Just give us a
honest,
right-
good faith? What
good
do you
faith.
think?
Couldn't we pay him just a little bit to do that? I mean,
Yeah,
That's what I'd like.
you know, give them a couple
Just that
$100 to come look at it, or 150.
Oh, to give a
Give
proposal?
him a couple $100 or something to.
For their
Yeah,
troubles.
make it
amount.
worth their time.
I would suggest doing both of them. I mean,
Okay.
just do two. That way we have
Yeah.
something to compare. I mean, I think both of them, Rasmus and Eric Smith, would be two good
It'd be
ones.
two good ones to do.
What do you think? $200 a piece or $250? I mean,
I'd like to give them a little something because they're doing it. for
no,
nothing.
I agree. They're putting their number out there, and then with the assumption that they're not getting it,
Right,
you know,
without
they're
them
not,
getting it.
they're not
That's
getting
the-
it either. So,
Yeah.
anybody have an idea on the number then?
Two, 250 or 3. You got a nice spread.
Well, Kelly, you used to be in construction. What would it be worth to you to give a quote?
Well, I did a lot of this for nothing for a lot of people, so, but
Rasmus
they'll
has
have
got
to
a
stand
drive
behind their
from,
quote.
from
So they have to be a little bit
Chrisman.
of detail, I mean.
But both of them, if we explain it to them that this is gonna be just for informational purposes, but we do have a project coming up in Dana that you're both
Yeah,
gonna
you're
be
more than welcome to
invited.
bid.
Maybe 2 projects coming up in there.
And they probably would do it for 2 or 3.
I say 250.
250? Is that
250.
is that a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion.
I'll second Kelly's motion.
All right, so I got a motion from Kelly, a second from RJ to offer $250 to Rasmus Demolition and Eric Smith, E.S. Smith and Sons Excavating to give us a price for cost of demo for the building at the corner of the square here in Newport. I don't know the address.
Yeah.
I do.
And you say we can accept the lower bid and give you half of that?
155 East
I
Extension.
wouldn't see why not. I figure
I
it
read
would
my
be
little
an
figure,
actual
so.
cost of probably 50. The hauling, the equipment,
So there you go, yeah.
well, let's see what the bids come in and we'll.
Hey, it might be cheaper than that, Jeff. You might just pay that. You might just have them do it if they come in cheap enough, right?
Yeah.
Any discussion? Or you can discuss if you want.
What's that?
I said you can discuss if you want. We've got a motion and a second on the floor. Is there any more discussion?
No, I think that's, I appreciate your time, gentlemen, thank you.
Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Ayes have it. Do you want to get with Eric Smith and I'll get with Rasmus since
That's
I've
fine.
talked to him?
Yep, that's fine.
You can, Rick. We gotta do
Yeah, there you go. I'll defer to Doug. Vice President can do something.
You know Eric? Okay, so you'll get with Eric and I'll get with this. Okay, very good.
One last thing I can do today.
it. You're welcome.
Okay. Boy, this has gone into extra innings.
Boy,
Yeah, I know.
11 already.
All right, the fifth item on the agenda is Atlas and Thrive with the Brownfield grant updates. We've got one open for testing and we applied for one for demo purposes.
I don't know, Cindy, and Chris
No.
still with us?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're actually, this application for the cleanup grant is a moving target right now with some of the sites already in progress or demoed, so we're gonna have to, Chris, I don't know, do you have the sites highlighted we were speaking of as far as putting in?
Yes, yes. If I can share my screen here.
Is that what you were asking, Scott?
Yeah, just kind of, we're unable to, well, I can probably pull it up on my computer, but the board's not gonna be able to really see all that.
Okay.
So it's a checklist showing what's been done on all the property. Could you just maybe email that to us and then we can,
Yeah.
I can
Yeah, and we've talked about a
circulate
couple
it.
of these today, so the green highlights are the ones that we were planning to put in the, demolition,
Oh, okay.
in the cleanup grant.
And I
And
saw,
that was because of the asbestos and some of the things that had to be cleared away. And most of the costs in these, on these facilities, now that they're all kind of rendered unsafe, to do a separate demolition, abatement, it's gonna be something that needs to be done at the same time, demolition and, a licensed abatement contractor should probably be on site to make sure that the materials, some materials can be separated and disposed of in an improved landfill for the hazardous materials. So that's where the extra cost would be involved on some of these demos. This is disposal cost. And I think every demo that goes on, and I'm sure everybody's aware of that you have to file a demo permit with the state of Indiana with IDEM prior to demolition, whether it has asbestos or it does not have asbestos. They just want to know when there's demo going on. So,
It's the important update here.
And that's not the case.
so we've got, I
private
think we still have
ownership.
like 3 sites that we're still looking at as far as
Still have to do all
demo,
that.
potentially maybe more.
I've never been caught.
I didn't have that list still up, but I know you guys were out doing some testing. We know you did testing on Extension Street here in Newport. Was there any update on that property in Blandford, which had used to be a gas station?
Let's see what the latest, I do have that listed on,
3058.
we do have that highlighted as one of the sites.
Okay.
Me too, I think the building has been, oh, the building's already been demolished, right?
Yeah, there's not anything there really. I mean, maybe in Hump Island, yeah, John, yeah. There's no building there. So it's just one that had strong evidence of it was a former gas station, and there was strong evidence that the tanks were still there.
Okay, oh, okay, we do have that listed on the cleanup grant. Chris, do we know, did we do more sampling to see if the tanks were actually there?
At which site?
On the,
3058.
is it 3058 South Mirror?
It would be a Muir Street.
At 3058, that is the right number.
Muir.
Okay. Yeah. And it's highlighted, Chris, line number 7. The former gas station, Lambert.
My understanding is we demolished it, there was no detection of contaminants or a tank, and to close that one out.
Yeah.
At least that's the most recent, but it does say USPs are on site.
He's the
but
excise officer.
That's a little confusing. I'm not aware of, I apologize, I'm not aware of 3058 Muir. That was probably before I came into that.
Okay, so we can get you some information back and just see what we proposed. I'm looking at it, it's like the phase 1, phase 2, there's a recommendation for phase 2. Oh, phase 2 was completed. Yes. I think that's the site we were talking about a cleanup grant to get the tanks removed. On that site. So we need to confirm that, yes, the tanks are there, and then confirm with, IDEM, if they're on their list, that's probably.
Cindy?
Yeah,
I mean, I think that was one that the tanks are there, but that was one where we didn't have the GPR report.
yeah.
That sounds right.
So, yeah, that would be something that, I don't know, is somebody buy this property yet, or?
No, we still own it, it's just kind of sitting there though, and we're not sure what we don't want to try and sell it unless we know it's cleaned up, or we've done all that we can do, so.
So, yeah, that is on our list to put in the cleanup grant, application, to get those tanks removed. I mean, we can do a little more, delineation on that and just check and see what the tanks, if the tanks have product in them and what, I don't think we've done that yet. And then how much. And then I don't know how the tanks are, but, you know, the potential, once you get the tanks out of the ground, that they have leaked underneath the tank. It's something that needs a little more investigation, or, and that would be good for a cleanup grant. I mean, if you sold that, if somebody wanted to buy that side, I don't know if it's, you know, corner side or if it's a really high traffic area and you want to get it sold, that this would definitely need to be disclosed as far as,
It's not very big, it's very small, but it's just something that if we could get it cleaned up and get it to maybe an adjoining property owner or somebody who take it, mow it.
okay. Yeah, and we don't know the extent of the cleanup at this point, but I think we have additional phase 2 to do out there, and then the report, the GPR report will tell us the size and if there's only how many tanks are there.
Who decides the cost of these cleanups?
So we'll follow up and see if we have the GPR report yet on that.
Who decides the cost of these cleanup projects? That come out of that grant? I mean, it's just open-ended and they can just take what they want out of it.
Well, they don't do cleanup, so. We have to limit them, we have 400,000 there.
Yeah, but
The other grants are, they're applying for a set grant. This is just a test.
I understand that, that's what I'm saying though. I mean, we want
The second
our,
grant is for cleanup.
we want our money to go as far as we can. on
I see what
it.
you're saying. Kelly's raising a concern about making sure we don't spend too much money on one thing that's not gonna be.
I just wanna know who comes up with the cost for each project. For cleanup, who comes up with the cost for cleanup of each project? To pay it into that brownfield grant or whatever, the cleanup grant.
I'm sorry, and who comes up with what? I'm sorry.
Well, we want that money to go as far as we can.
Yeah.
So who decides what each project costs? Like to go take them tanks out, who says what it costs?
We can, yeah, we could put an estimate together, you know, we know how much it costs to get tanks out of the ground. The wild part is if it's leaked at all, how much soil has to come out and be disposed of at an approved hazardous landfill.
I do have a question.
That's what cost, yeah.
I do have a question to piggyback off Kelly's question there. So this brownfield cleanup grant, or even Scott, maybe you can answer this too, or even Okra. I'm with Kelly. Sometimes these overestimators estimate stuff, you know, pretty high. I know a couple years ago we had a bridge. They said it would cost $300,000 to replace, and then a local contractor bid it for $150,000. You know, so my question is, if you estimate high and we get the grant, then we have bids come in low. Does that money go back to the grant, or would we be better off to, you know, not use all that money on one grant if we could spread it out on a couple if we estimate correctly instead of overestimating?
I mean, do you get bids for these projects?
Okra we do, yeah. I mean, Okra.
I guess it's more brownfield.
Yeah,
we can do Okra later.
That's a
but.
Cindy question there.
So
proposal is put together, like
You can use the money on the site. We're grouping sites as a multiple site application, so it'll be one cleanup grant. Some money, if you don't use it all on one site, you may be able to use it on another site. But yeah, we estimate high because there's a lot of unknowns, like you just don't know what kind of soil contamination you're gonna get.
Well, as long as you can use them, if we're applying for 5 sites, I don't think it's a big deal. Then we can use the money on different sites. But if they were tied to a specific site, and you said $1 million or $500,000 for this, and then Doug bids it, and it's only 200,000, then we're just sitting and giving you back 800,000 back. So that's all I want to make sure. But if you can use them for all of them,
I think, Cindy, correct me if I'm wrong, but the brownfield grants are they're open-ended in the sense that there's 400,000 there for the brownfield to do the phase ones, and we can, it's not allocated this much to this one, this much to this one. It's what it costs. Now the demo one, I don't know how that one, if it's the same or not.
The cleanup grant's a little bit different.
Okay.
It's more site specific, but we're submitting a multi-site. A lot of times the cleanup grants, people will have a giant industrial site and they'll submit $4 million for cleanup. They'll submit the max. Last year we submitted a cleanup grant for a coal ash landfill, and we asked for the max of $400,000. I'm sorry, $4 million to clean that up. We didn't get the grant, but that's typical of cleanup grants. They usually go for a very large cleanup or a multi-site cleanup, and that's what we're looking at. Multi-site cleanup for properties that are owned by Vermillion County.
Okay.
I think all we have to do, if we don't use all the money for one site, we'll just have to update the work plan that we submit and let them know that, okay, we didn't use all the money for this site, but it will go for another site, or we'd like to transfer it over to another site. So,
That's not my question.
and then, there may be other sites that come up before we get this grant submitted. And that's one thing that Scott and Vermillion County, what we would want to talk about, are there any other sites owned by the county that may be assessed and also be included in the cleanup grant application?
Yeah, I'm just getting around.
Can't think of any, but we'll have to think about it.
Okay.
We have most of the bad ones right here.
Yeah.
One thing, Scott, as far as the Newport and kind of the dry cleaning contaminants that we're finding at 155, does the county own any of those properties in that area? Any other properties over there?
Courthouse.
There's several vacant lots.
The courthouse. I don't know, RJ, does the county own anything else here around the square? Do you know?
not to my knowledge, no. Just
the town of Newport might own a building.
I mean,
They're the bank.
yeah, but that's not a dilapidated. I mean,
but well, the groundwater thing is all over.
yeah, just all you would have is the annex, and then I think the Lions Club. They all own pretty much everything over there. That whole up and down, or the Griffins. I know Griffins are a little bit north there, like where the gas station was, I believe. On the corner.
Okay.
Is there a greenhouse there? A greenhouse operation?
I don't know many greenhouse operations.
No.
Okay.
My concern with doing the, excuse me, the 155 phase 2 drilling and the results was that it was just, I believe, above residential published levels for IDEM, which to me probably says it's cross gradient. And my concern would be if the source is at this supposed 235 west extension, essentially, considering where the groundwater is going, which would be northward towards the creek, all of those properties could be impacted from that source, right? So we may just be hitting a little bit of this contamination, and it could really have impacted several properties.
Right. That makes sense to me, that it probably is not just that location that has the issue, it's probably most of the buildings, most of the groundwater under downtown, middle of the community for Newport.
And I won't go into any science lesson here, but I will tell you that the only thing that we found above was PERC or PCE associated with dry cleaning chemicals. And when you get into some of the breakdown of some of these chemicals, we're not seeing any breakdown chemicals, which definitely concerns me, because either this stuff's been sitting on the ground for a while and has not been allowed to attenuate into some of these even more harmful chemicals. And as sure as we're all sitting here, they will over time. And that's kind of a concern, in regards to all the residential properties that are to the north as well. So I know, we don't have proof one way or the other, but I just want to make that apparent that, yeah, if we're just impacted on the west side of 155, and it's all going northward, and we're just hitting, it's just traveling, just nicking it, we have no idea what could be under some of those properties, especially to the west.
It's another post office to the west, so you can we'll tell them that one too.
No, not another one.
Anybody got anything else they want to talk to Thrive about?
Nope.
Okay, moving right along, but backtracking briefly. Hey, the invoice for $5,000, RJ, to the commissioners. It's not to us.
So you trying to tell me to call Ryan Keller?
Yeah,
There you go. You can do that.
we committed for $5,000 or 55, but
Yeah, I've got a Sharpie over here. I can write Redevelopment Commission on there.
well, but I've got
think I'll
Vermillion
be
County
okay.
Board of Commissioners.
Yeah, mine does too. That's what mine says.
So I think that, but it all ties in with that, I think.
I'll put on here, John gave me orders to call.
Okay, the next item on the agenda, we got a letter from Betsy Pepperak of RJL Solutions, which I forwarded to Scott when I got it, and then you all have a copy of it, I hope, about our Ready grant. And there are some things that have to be, some questions have to be answered and all that kind of stuff by September 30th, 2025. And
We'll work on that. I'm going to work on it this week.
that all ties in with Ernie Pyle and getting it ready, but don't go out there this weekend or next weekend, because I think the state police are gonna be out there shooting at people.
Unless you want to get shot at.
They're using simunition, they call it, so.
Did you take my name off the fire alarm call list, or have you been getting
They
called?
haven't been calling, as far as I know.
Then the last time we went out there, they might have got it fixed, because I was out there with.
Yeah, I know. We've been having some fire alarm issues. So all the three of us are on the list, and so we've all been out there and multiple times. But we also, both John and I met with the contractor to try and fix it and stop the alarms from going off unnecessarily. So maybe we have that left for.
I can only hope, because.
Hope so, yeah.
I did have, I emailed you guys a bunch of times, and so I did have a call last week with, and you're gonna do these every other Tuesday. This one was scheduled at the very last minute. I'm gonna invite all of you to all the rest of the calls if you can make it or not. But Hannig, Halstead, well, those are the main two, and some other consultants that they're using, like they had some HVAC engineers on the last call. They've been scheduling these, they're gonna do every Tuesday morning. Every other Tuesday morning, excuse me, so not tomorrow, but next Tuesday. Kind of, this is their way to talk to each other. They're still trying to work on estimates firming up estimates for the renovation cost at Ernie Pyle. They are telling me it's gonna be late October before they think they have solid numbers. They had people coming out to looking at specifically drilling in to look at things like the flow of the water from the water meter. We have a 2-inch water meter, but they want to test the flow. They have somebody coming out to look at the septic. They've had somebody come out and look at the roof, go up on the roof, walk around. Guys from ARP, Associated Roofing Professionals, went up on the roof and did hopefully a very thorough examination to determine what kind of shape it's in. We know it's old, but we had some professionals go up and look at it. They're going to go look at the septic, I know, and they're also coming out. They're going to meet out there on Friday at 10 a.m. To drill into the HVAC stuff in a lot more detail, and we can go into that as much as you want, but we've been here for almost 2 hours already. So, but basically they're trying to figure out how to best utilize the stuff that we have to provide conditioning, good air to the rooms that we want to renovate. It's complicated because there's the existing stuff that's already there. They're trying to determine what they can reuse. They're also, though, I will say I was encouraged in the last call because they were going through saying, well, we don't really need to replace the floors in this bathroom. They're fine. They're not brand new, but they work. So we can take that off. They're trying to get our costs down is the goal. So, but we're not going to have a firm number, I don't think, till end of October, more than likely. So we will have to await that number until we can really apply for our United Way grant. They want to know the cost and the funding and have put all that together. So chicken egg thing always with this project, but they are working and they're out there. They're going to be out there Friday again. So, small thing, but I had a call and I meant to go out there and I forgot to do it. I was going to do it this morning. The sheriff, since we had our little vandalism incident, the sheriff has been sending deputies out there to keep an eye on the place. So I got a call Friday night, like 10 o'clock, from one of the deputies who was out there, and he was worried because the garage door wasn't locked. And so,
it was locked that day.
the
Up and down when we
Up and
locked
down.
that day that I
it
was
was not
there.
locked. And so he was gonna lock it. But I don't know if somebody else got in.
Well, there's a big hornet's nest right there at that door. I hope they get stuck.
So,
And what is out there in that building?
A big air conditioner unit. I mean, they wouldn't be able to, they'd have to have a forklift with extra long forks to get it out, but
So since
They
this
could
wasn't
vandalize
locked,
it.
did anybody check it to see if it was vandalized or cut up or anything?
I did not.
it wasn't the day I was out there
The
and I
guys,
locked it.
the guys who did the vandalism did not. Now,
Well,
whether
I'm talking since what you're talking about, 10 o'clock call.
he said it looked okay, but I mean, I didn't go out there personally.
Yeah.
In a box, isn't it?
Pardon me?
Or some kind of crate or something?
It's in a box / crate.
I just didn't know. I don't know if the lock is busted or something.
The door lock works, but all you gotta do is shake the knob and you can open it. And Mike Hamilton had said he was gonna put a new door lock on there.
Well, should we get somebody just to go out there and put?
It needs a new door frame and knob because the frame is so sloppy there. Even if you put a new lock on it, you're gonna be able to jiggle it and get it open. But then you could lock the garage from the inside if that door was lockable. And I would prefer that if they were gonna put a new door in, they'd put one with a deadbolt and the thing. And that way, they gotta learn how to pick two locks to get in. That's just my opinion.
Well, I would say, I mean, that unit out there is worth how much?
I don't know, probably a lot.
I would like to see the board. I'm sure we've got some funding here that, you know, since this is live streamed, everybody knows that the door can be, you know, pretty much easily broken into now. Maybe it's a top priority to make sure that whether it's John or we delegate somebody to get a quote or proposal or whatever and give him the authority to authorize that work to be done to replace the door, lock, deadbolt, whatever John sees fit.
New casing, new door.
New casing
lock,
door, yeah, whatever
whatever it needs, I think.
Well, it's gonna be less than 150,000, so we could just
Yeah, we just didn't, it's repair and maintenance.
It better be. So we could probably just, if we agreed on somebody to say, hey, go fix that, put a new door casing, lock.
I would defer to, your judgment, and then I would defer, if we could, to a county contractor if available somewhere in the county, if somebody's
You know
available.
anybody that could and would do it?
What about Mike?
Huh?
Mike, would you do it?
Well, he's awful busy.
Oh,
We could start with him and Clint, and then just go down a list of,
Jeff Simpson, he does, I don't know if he does that kind of stuff.
yeah. I just think make some calls and see who's available. and,
We can do that.
maybe paint that garage door?
Well, yeah, that would be nice.
that would include that as well. That's
Well, I'd probably volunteer to go paint that door. It needs covered up.
Okay, and then you and
I've been working with
Brandon.
Brandon actually was on that call Tuesday with HW or Hannig and Halstead. He was supposed to send me a proposed memorandum of agreement, or MOU, memorandum of understanding. He has a similar arrangement with the city of Terre Haute where they cover. He runs a couple of centers for the city of Terre Haute, and they basically provide the building and cover overhead, and then he provides staff and programming at 14th and Chestnut Community Center, and then the other one. Anyway, he hadn't done that yet, so I need to remind him of that. We've both been busy, so. Pardon me?
We need that for that.
We do, yeah, so that'll serve as some urgency to get that done. So.
Okay, are there any comments from the public? Please be brief if you are, because it's damn near lunchtime.
It is lunchtime.
Yeah.
Clinton still be there?
Huh?
Will Clinton still be there?
Well, I'm hoping that it has flown away. When I get there, the office will be gone. There we go. Any of the board members, any comments? I do need to email everybody a copy of that bid request for bids.
Yep.
And then Scott's gonna email everybody a copy of what.
I did already, actually.
And then the only other business is Doug and you are gonna get with the contractors on
That building at 155, and then I'm gonna get a hold of Mike Hamilton, and then try somebody else if Mike can't do it, to put a new door frame.
Just one more thing on Revive.
Go ahead.
If I do have camera access, and it's any of us can have camera access, let me know if you want it. I don't know why, if you would, but you can have it. It's pretty simple. There's also, it is set up now for key fobs. If you have like a county key fob, RJ, or a key, we can get you a key and a security code if you do want to go into the building.
Does my key fob work down there?
They may have to.
You'll have to get a hold of ICS and they will program it to whatever it is for here, but then you'll have to have the disarm
An
code.
actual code, yeah.
Need a code.
I don't know that I need one. I'm just
I know.
curious.
I don't. We have these things because we're the southern end
Yeah.
guys, but I don't want to exclude you guys if you want to have access or look at the cameras at least.
Yeah, I don't know.
You can. So, and the state troopers are going to be there starting end of like the 29th. I did meet with them. I emailed you about that. But they're going to, or I got the dates on my account. They're going to be there for 2 weeks.
Are the contractors aware?
Yeah.
The contractors shouldn't be in there whole. I think we've got it coordinated. I told them that there could be contractors in. But.
Could you send your contact for who set that up for the state police after shooting? Because I know for years there hasn't been any like training done here at the courthouse, and I'd like to talk to whoever that is about how to set that possibly up.
Who sent me the email? Or you did? Sheriff, on the sheriff's one, it was Jimmy.
I'm just trying to find. I'm just trying to find out who the state police.
I've never seen so many state troopers in one spot at the same time.
They weren't even selling donuts.
I know. I can't imagine there's somebody on the Ernie Powell Road who saw all those police cars going down the road and thought there'd probably been a murder somewhere, because there must. I mean, there was like 12 of them there. But they were they thought they were really excited. because they don't often get actual schools to work in. And they were then really, really excited that the plumbing works, because they had one apparently at an old school one time, but they had no plumbing, so they had to bring in porta pots and stuff. So it wasn't real great, so they were pretty excited. So I told them to keep their eyes out for the vandals. So I really hope somebody tries to do some vandalism while they're all out there.
Did the sheriff's department not find the vandal that?
I don't think they've had any. I looked at the camera footage. I mean, it's
hard to tell.
Hard to tell.
They said it was 3 adults, so.
It was 3, I could tell it was 3 guys, yeah.
And they drove.
They did drive. You see their car lights pull up and stuff, they park.
No
behind it.
vehicle description or anything.
Not on what I'm not as good with that software probably as maybe they can, I don't know, I've watched too many movies where they can zoom in and like, you know.
Could they tell
Well, I
they
don't
were
think those
driving?
cameras out there are gonna be that sophisticated.
Like the spy satellites, we can tell, you know, what Vladimir Putin's having for dinner or whatever.
Okay, has anybody got anything else? Next meeting. We're gonna do it. Boy, it'd be nice if we had numbers, but.
Wait long enough, we might be able to push them to have it by the end of October. I am gonna be gone in a couple days.
Okay, so why don't we, next meeting, drag our feet about setting it, and we'll give them 2 weeks to get us an email
sure.
with numbers, and if they don't think they're gonna have it in time, where we can look at it, then we'll go ahead and set the next meeting via email.
Sure.
That work for everybody?
That works for me.
Does that work for you, Doc? All right, I'll accept the motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Got a motion and a second, we are adjourned. Thank you very much.
John,
Yeah.
clarification.
Yes, sir.
Date, time, and location, if you're gonna do an email, will it be posted on the?
It'll be on the email and it'll be on the calendar here both, as soon as I know.
All right, thank you.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna ask you something before I.
Yeah.
I know what it is. I know what it is.
Is the camera off?
I don't know if Penny has to shut it off. She may have shut it off. I don't know how that
Yeah.
is. That live stream.
Let's see.
We're gonna bring up Cuba.
Oh, I know what it is. Okay.
Something put on the agenda at town hall.
County Commissioner. business.
Yeah, the commissioner bid.
For a second.
We got paid for all these. We got paid for all these.
We don't have numbers.
Additional from.
We need to shut that recorder off.
Yeah.
They've sent us, I told
Trees,
you.
I'm speaking very much. See you,
Have a
Doug.
good day.
I didn't forget on all.
We need to go.
Power button, maybe? It's running out.
Talking about recall, hiring recall. Would you be okay if I went?